who told an interviewer that he doesn't know if he's required to uphold the Constitution.
Don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me. Of course, you have the Declaration of Independence.
What does it mean to you?
Well, it means exactly what it says. It's a declaration. It's a declaration of unity and love and respect, and it means a lot, and it's something very special to our country. And the auto pen is becoming a very big deal. You know, the auto pen is becoming a big deal because it seems like that maybe was the president who ever operated the auto pen. But when they say that that was not good, they also, you know, you have to look and you have to say then.
So, some very serious health concerns regarding Donald Trump are once again surfacing as he said to go to Walter Reed Medical Center on Friday for what the White House is referring to as a routine yearly checkup. You see, the issue is that they claimed he already had a routine yearly checkup back on April 11th. There. The purported doctor said that Donald Trump was perfectly healthy as evidenced by the fact that he wins many golf tournaments. That was a direct quote from those what I thought were very phony medical reports at the time. Now, we're also learning about some other data points that suggest real serious health issues, both cognitive as well as physical. There have been many speculating before that Donald Trump had a series of mini-strokes that actually date back to his first term, and that may have occurred again. Now, we're seeing, for example, yesterday, Marco Rubio having to write notes to Donald Trump in very big letters that the press was able to capture. We need you to approve your social media post on the Truth Social platform to announce the deal, the purported ceasefire deal in Gaza, which we'll actually see what that really means. Donald Trump announces fake deals all the time, but what was very clear that someone else is writing Donald Trump's posts. But what we also learned is that when Donald Trump thinks he's sending direct messages to his cabinet members, messages that, by the way, are unlawful, he's posted those publicly. So, one very serious message that I believe is incredibly illegal, that message that he sent to Pam Bondi, where he said, "Pam, I need you to go and attack my political opponents, James Comey, Adam Schiff, and New York Attorney General Letitia James." Well, Wall Street Journal reported yesterday that that message was a direct message to Attorney General Pam Bondi. It was not supposed to be posted public, but Donald Trump accidentally posted it public because he's not really cognitively there anymore. I mean, when you see Donald Trump's response to this government shutdown and just his speech patterns in general, it was always very bad. I think during the 2024 election, it was certainly getting worse. And we called it out a lot. He would tell the stories about Hannibal Lecter, his best friend, imaginary serial killer friends that he had. He would talk about shark attacks and his fear of being electrocuted. He would talk about looking at the penises of golfers in the showers. We would say, doesn't seem to be there, but it's getting even worse. I mean, now he's out talking about getting $17 trillion in tariff shelves, that there are these tariff shelves with $17 trillion, and he has all this money, yet at the same time, our government's run out of money. Hence, we're in a shutdown. So that doesn't really make sense. Just the way he blames migrants and transgender surgeries in Peru or something for the shutdown. American people are looking at him like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? Then he pretends to be negotiating with Democratic leaders Jeff and Schumer when there's no conversations taking place at all. And then just his behavior.
As he's curtailed public appearances in recent weeks.
Andrew, this came on the back of the fact that Madeleine Dean confronted Mike Johnson, where she told the House Speaker that she thought that Trump was unwell, that he was unhinged after the way he had, brought in all the US senior generals for a meeting, for a conference, whatever you want to call it, and the way he spoke to them, what he spoke about, potentially bring militants onto the streets as war zones or whatever he said. But yeah, she told Speaker Johnson he's unhinged, he's unwell.
And the Speaker did not explicitly deny that and say back to the Congresswoman, no, he's fine, he's fine. What he said was, there are a lot of people on your side who are unwell. And Trump's health, both physical and mental, has been a source of discussion in Washington circles for years, dating back to his first term. There was a a video that went viral of him struggling to go down a ramp at the U.S. Military Academy graduation in 2020. And he has often needed or wanted a bit of assistance going up or downstairs. And that, I understand, is because he does not want to fall and be seen falling publicly. That's something, of course, which happened with former President Biden that Trump made a lot of hay out of during the election. Of course, other presidents have fallen going up or down stairs, especially those air stairs coming off of Air Force One, which having used some of those myself, they are a bit bouncy and wobbly, and not like the stairs in your house or apartment building. And at that same speech in Quantico, Virginia, he actually had some rare words of praise for former President Obama for his ability to go up and down stairs very quickly. But Donald Trump's health is not a non-issue. After his successor turned predecessor, Mr. Biden, he is the oldest person to ever be sworn in for a second term, and he is notoriously opaque about his health. During his first campaign for the presidency in 2015, 2016, he released a letter from
in front of
his
world
doctor
leaders what you saw at the United Nations, not just unhinged, but just
Trumpian
mentally not
its,
there. I mean, yelling at
depiction
escalators,
of his health to the point
yelling
where
at
it said that
teleprompters.
all his
Again, the
test
behavior is
results were
unhinged.
positive.
And that's
Of
not
course,
even to
in
mention,
medicine,
the rotting and decaying
positive
hand.
test
I mean, you see his
results are not-
mouth, the droopy
not
mouth,
a
which is
good
kind of
thing,
symptoms of a stroke. There
usually.
seems to be
And he later
again,
admitted that
I'm not a
he
doctor,
wrote it,
so let me be
and
very
the
clear.
doctor later
I'm giving you my
said
opinions,
that
and they're
he
also
wrote
informed
it.
by my discussions
But
with world-renowned
he has
doctors
not
who I
been
talk to,
transparent,
which is why I
about his
think
health,
many
although his
strokes,
physician
serious
did
cardiovascular issues,
respond
and or
to,
kidney and or
a
liver
lot of
issues.
reporter questions about swollen ankles that were shown on the president. Some might call them cankles, at an event where he was sitting down and his lower limbs looked quite bloated. And this memorandum said the president had been diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency. Now, some doctors have said that this could be a sign of a bigger problem. I'm not a doctor, so I won't speculate. But something else that's gotten a lot of notice is some pretty regularly present bruising on one or both of the president's hands, often inexpertly covered up with makeup. And the president's aides, I talked with Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, a couple weeks ago about this. She reiterated an explanation that had been put out during the campaign when it was said that the bruising on his hand was an effect of his constant handshaking. Now, he's no longer on the campaign trail. He interacts with far fewer people on a daily basis. But Caroline Leavitt was quite insistent that part of the problem is that people are always coming in and out of the Oval Office, and he shakes hands with all of them. And Leavitt said that women actually exacerbate this problem when shaking his hand because of the long nails that press into his skin. And I won't opine on whether or not I believe that. I'm just reporting that to you because that's what I do. I'm a reporter. I'm not a pundit or opinion type person. But the bruising has been on both hands, not just the right hand with which one shakes hands. And it has led to some speculation that maybe he's getting intravenous infusions. Now, that's something that the White House medical unit is known to do for people when they get tired, including White House staff have described to me how when they're feeling run down, they have occasionally gone down to the medical unit and asked for IV fluids, and they've gotten them and they felt better afterwards. But whether or not this really is from shaking hands or from getting intravenous infusions for any reason, the White House is not saying.
Well, I mean, it is interesting because, you know, Trump is in his late 70s. No one would blame him for getting tired. But of course, he does want to be seen as the complete opposite of Joe Biden. He doesn't want to be seen as old. He doesn't want to be seen as senile. And, you know, he did sit for a cognitive exam in his first term, something that that Joe Biden refused to do. So we've got to give it to him there. But
yes, person, man, woman, camera, TV, if I remember correctly, were the words he had to repeat.
Exactly. Andrew Feinberg, thank you so much for joining the Trump Report today.
Thank you for having me.
The global humiliation. There was a time when the world looked at the U.S. and saw stability. Then Trump walked in and turned the briefing room into a circus tent. I remember watching foreign leaders try to hide their disbelief behind polite smiles, the kind you give to a man who thinks the room laughs with him. Every handshake, every summit, every historic deal was all theater. He didn't listen to advisors, he listened to applause. And when the world didn't clap, he took it personally. That's the thing about Trump. Every disagreement feels like betrayal. Every bit of advice sounds like disrespect. He thought leadership meant dominance. He thought diplomacy was a weakness. And in the end, he left the world not fearing America, but pitying it. Allies stopped calling. Enemies stopped pretending. And Trump? He called it victory. He said America was respected again. But respect isn't built on fear, it's built on trust. And nobody trusts a man who treats every friendship like a deal and every deal like a tweet. The world didn't move on because it hated Trump. It moved on because it couldn't afford to wait for him. In the end, Trump will boast that he changed the world. And maybe, in a way, he did, just not how he imagined. He made other nations realize they could survive without America's permission. He made old allies rethink old loyalties. And he made history remember that ego can collapse empires faster than any war. The world didn't stop spinning when Trump withdrew. It started recalibrating. New centers of power emerged. New voices filled the silence he left behind. One day, when future historians write about the fall of American dominance, they'll trace it back to the man who thought the world was a mirror and never noticed when it stopped reflecting him.